Sorry, it seems that we are not ready.
No, he's talking to his audience.
Ready or not?
Absolutely ready, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. We want to thank you for being with us to see the Arab Council of Ambassadors, led by our chair for this month, the Ambassador of Egypt, my brother Osama, and also we have with us the chair of the OIC, the ministerial chair, the ambassador of Mauritania. You remember that during the first weeks of the aggression against our people in the Gaza Strip, we had the tradition of assembling large number of ambassadors, Arabs, OIC, and others to address you, to show you solidarity and unity of all these groups in condemning the aggression, demanding ceasefire, and all of the things that we've done in the past. We succeeded, as you know, in the past in going to the General Assembly, resuming the 10th emergency session, and adopting a resolution that highlighted the three objectives that united all of us: stopping the aggression, ceasefire, allowing for humanitarian assistance up to scale, and fighting against the crime against humanity of the forced transfer. We believe that that resolution in the General Assembly reflected these principles among other elements contained in that resolution. Then 3 weeks after that, we succeeded collectively and others of having a resolution adopted in the Security Council, Resolution 2712, which on the basis of that resolution and the resolution in the General Assembly, arrangements took place of having a halt of the fighting for a number of days, was extended to other days, extended to other days, that allowed for, among other things, for the release of prisoners and the hostages. And I believe that families from both sides were very joyful to see their loved ones go back to be part of their families. We thought that that behavior will be leading to a permanent ceasefire. Unfortunately, those who are eager to continue the fighting and the bloodshed, and they do not value the life of Palestinian children and thousands of civilians who have been killed or injured or still under the rubbles, or the orphans, which we were told that there are in the thousands Palestinian orphans, that also we need to find ways to deal with them and to take care of them. So now we are resuming this activity, and prepare yourself to see us every day. In fact, tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we will assemble here, but tomorrow the number of ambassadors will be larger because we are inviting the 57 members of the OIC to be with us so that we can make our message clear, crystal clear, and as strong as possible in condemning what is happening and demanding, an immediate ceasefire to stop the aggression, to stop the fighting. During the weekend and yesterday and the day before, we in the Arab group, we were in full consultations, and we had an emergency meeting yesterday in which we observed and analyzed what is happening globally speaking. We took note of the summit of the Gulf states, in which they called, among other things, for an immediate ceasefire. We observed the UN system and all organizations saying that their systems are on the verge of complete collapse, and therefore they are demanding a ceasefire to be able to function. We noted the message of Mr. Borrell, the Foreign Minister of the European Union, in which he said, on the basis of the situation of UN agencies who are calling for a ceasefire, in essence, he is also calling for a ceasefire. And a few minutes ago, I thought that the SG is telling me a secret. He told me there is a secret, there is an announcement today. But then a few minutes ago, he published a letter to the Security Council telling them that the humanitarian situation is so catastrophic in the Gaza Strip, and he is asking again for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire. Based on all these things, we came also before them to the conclusion that we cannot move further without having the Security Council shouldering its responsibility and to act or react to a draft resolution calling for a ceasefire. We are in the final moments of fine-tuning the language. We might be in a position to announce to you maybe before the end of the day of a step in that direction to be taken place before the end of this week. We wanted to share these things with you. It is our collective duty to try, to push the Security Council to respond to all these requests and demands. A delegation of our ministers, the combined Arab and OIC ministers, will be in Washington, D.C. tomorrow. They will engage the U.S. officials with a view of all of the things that we are saying and other things, I am sure. But on top of the agenda is this war has to stop, a ceasefire has to take place, and it has to take place immediately. The security advisor of the Vice President of the United States contacted my president this morning, and our president pressed very clearly immediate ceasefire, humanitarian assistance at scale, stopping the transfer, the forced transfer, and the United States to play a role to act in order these things to happen. So as you see, there are a lot of things are converging together, and it has to produce an immediate ceasefire to allow also for our brothers in Qatar and in Egypt to continue with their efforts to resume the exchange of prisoners and detainees and captives, so that practice that took place about a week ago, to go back to it, because it has value to all concerned parties. This is what I wanted to share with you before I give the floor to my brother from Egypt. But let me say a few things in Arabic. نعود إلى ممارسة الدور الذي قمنا به كمجموعة عربية وإسلامية وآخرين في الحديث معكم بشكل يومي عن آخر التطورات. الأمور بعد العدوان الهمجي الذي لم نشهد له مثيلا في الجزء الجنوبي من قطاع غزة وتحديدا مدينة خان يونس تطلب ويتطلب منا جميعا، كما دعت إلى ذلك قمة دول الخليج بوقف الإطلاق النار من ضمن عدة مسائل أخرى، وكما ينادي الأمين العام وكل منظمات الأمم المتحدة بأن أجهزة الأمم المتحدة في غزة الآن على وشك الانهيار الكامل. لذلك الأمين العام يدعو إلى وقف إطلاق نار إنساني فوري. بوريل يدعو ويرتكز على موقف الأمم المتحدة في الدعوة لنفس الشيء. نحن في المجموعة العربية منذ الويك إند ونحن في تواصل ما بيننا، وعقدنا اجتماعا طارئا البارحة، ونحن بصدد وضع اللمسات الأخيرة على مشروع قرار محدد يدعو إلى وقف إطلاق نار والمراقبة حول تنفيذ هذا الوقف لإطلاق النار من قبل أجهزة الأمم المتحدة، من قبل الأمين العام. وربما نستطيع ربما قبل نهاية هذا اليوم أن نضع بين أيديكم صيغة التي نريد لمجلس الأمن أن يتحمل مسؤولياته بشأنها، وربما يتم التصويت على المشروع قبل نهاية هذا الأسبوع. نشكركم على التواجد معنا. أدعوكم إلى اللقاء معنا غدا الساعة 11 قبل الظهر بتواجد السفراء العرب وسفراء الدول الإسلامية وآخرين من أصدقائنا. أخي أسامة تفضل.
Thank you very much, Dr. Riyad Mansour. Not much to add to what my dearest brother, Dr. Riyad Mansour, has stated, the Arab group is fully geared and mobilized to deal with the catastrophic situation that is happening before our eyes in Gaza in general, in southern Gaza. The worst of our fears is happening. We have been warning against the resumption of the military aggression, the Israeli military aggression, and hundreds of thousands of our brothers and sisters of Palestine are abandoned without a shelter in southern Gaza. We're calling the Security Council to shoulder its responsibilities. The Arab group once again is knocking on the doors of the Security Council. As Dr. Riyad said, we're developing a draft resolution. Our brothers of the Ambassador Lana Nsiba and her very able team of United Arab Emirates are working on a possible draft resolution for the immediate ceasefire. We have been engaging with members of the Security Council as well for the last 10 days on the call to have an enhanced humanitarian response mechanism to our brothers and sisters of Palestine in Gaza, trying to make all the crossings fully operational and to use and to authorize the UN to do the vetting, to do the uplifting and up to scale humanitarian flow of humanitarian assistance. This is long overdue. The Arab ministers are about to meet in Washington, D.C. Within the coming few days to pay a visit. We're in consultation with all the permanent members. We will meet at the Arab group as well later today with the President of the Security Council. This is, as Dr. Riyad said, it's high time. The Secretary General has pronounced himself repeatedly on the call to have an immediate humanitarian ceasefire, and we would not tolerate any more of the lip service. We could not. I mean, it's a humanitarian catastrophe before the eyes of everyone, and we want the Security Council to shoulder its responsibility and to intervene before we would reach a level where it would threaten the peace and stability in the Middle East. This is what I would do. Thank you.
بدك تتكلم شيء؟ بدك تتكلمي؟ Okay, بس let me just say before I give the floor to my sister, the ambassador of Qatar, we met yesterday also with Karim Khan, the prosecutor of the ICC, and we had a very frank and intense discussion. We urged him to visit as soon as possible the Gaza Strip and to see with his own eyes the tragedy that the Palestinian people are going through, and to see the war crimes committed against the Palestinian people. We emphasized the need for him to make the issue of children, the 6,000 or 7,000 killed and the many thousand that could be under the rubble, as a centerpiece of his activities. And also we brought to his attention that he cannot only talk about the violence of the settlers. Settlements is a crime against humanity and war crime according to the Rome Statute and to the IHL. We emphasize these things for him, that he should be speaking about these things very clearly, and to expedite the process of the investigation, among other issues that we raised. I thought that that would be also important for you to hear that very frank discussion that we, the Arab group, had with the prosecutor of the ICC. Sister Sheikh Alia.
Thank you so much, Dr. Riyad. Good morning, everyone. Let me just as well inform you, of course, the State of Qatar assumed chairmanship of the Gulf Cooperation Council during the summit-level meeting convened under the chairmanship of His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, the Emir of the State of Qatar, on December 5th. And of course, the GCC summit as well has called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza to stop the bloodshed and to save lives and to alleviate the suffering of the Palestinian people. For, of course, we will definitely shoulder our efforts together with the Arab group and the Islamic group, as indicated by my brother Ambassador Riyadh, and we will work together on this immediate text before the Security Council on the clear-cut call on an immediate ceasefire. So we will definitely, this is something that we will focus on in the next 24 hours. Thank you very much.
Just wait. You did a great job, in chairing, the meeting for the CERF. My brother, the ambassador of Mauritania, who is the chair of the OIC, wanted to reiterate a piece of information that I mentioned, but he wants to present it to you.
Thank you, Ambassador. I want just to say that tomorrow we are going to organize a stake out here as a OIC group. I'm not going to go in the details because tomorrow you will have opportunity to listen to the OIC ambassador here tomorrow, just to confirm what Ambassador Riyadh had said. Thank you.
We decided, not to take question at this time, but we will be available to you in the next hours. And you want to say something? Okay. My brother, the ambassador of Saudi Arabia, as you know, his foreign minister is the chair of the combined OIC Arab group, who will be, converging in Washington, wanted to say something.
Thank you very much. Just to add that the ministerial committee mandated by the summit, the Islamic and Arab summit held in Riyadh, continuing with their efforts to address the situation in Gaza. The next capital to visit is Washington. They should be in Washington tomorrow. And the aim is to discuss with the US administration the ceasefire and, of course, the humanitarian situation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And as I said, we will... Oh, yes. You see, Ambassador Tahir of Libya, who was the chair of the Arab group for last month, wanted to share a piece of activity that we are involved in.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. Just for last month, as you've seen, and the level of attacks on UN officials has been too much. And this started with the SG and all other agencies. Therefore, the Arab group issued a condemnation, a clear condemnation, that we don't accept or allow bashing, UN agencies and officials, and all what's happening from the Israeli occupying forces and officials is just to undermine the work of the UN by denying them visas, by trying not to show reports, and it's all hiding facts. And we always question, if they don't really trust the UN system and they don't trust this, why are they even a member in the UN system? So we really want you all to stand up for the UN. This is a humanitarian crisis. This is something that we cannot stop and we cannot just be silent about. If we do that and have it pass, it will go everywhere and it will continue. The other thing that the Arab group has been undergoing a number of dialogues with regional groups. This is part of our efforts in order to coordinate and also try to work together to reach the ultimate goal of a ceasefire. So these are numbers of activities that we've been doing, and we're continuing now with the presidency of Egypt, and I'm sure we'll follow that and we'll inform you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and we will continue the conversation. And I want to thank all of my brothers and sisters for being with us in this press conference. Thank you.